Chapter 52. Is there a word for that? He sat in the window of Flora's room and looked down at the sleeping Flora, and then up and out, at the lighted windows of the other houses. He thought about the words he would like to add to his poem. He thought about the music at Dr. Mitchen's house, the way the voices sounded, singing. He thought about the look on Mr. Claus's face when he went sailing backward down the hallway. Was there a word for that? Was there a word for all those things together? The lighted windows and the music and the terrified, disbelieving look on a cat's face when he was vanquished. The squirrel listened to the wind blowing through the leaves on the trees. He closed his eyes and imagined a giant donut with sprinkles on top of it and cream inside of it, or jelly, maybe. He thought about flying. He thought about the look on Flora's face when her mother said that life would be easier without her. What was a squirrel supposed to do with all of these thoughts and feelings? Flora let out a small snore. Ulysses opened his eyes. He kept them open until the lights in the windows of the other houses went off one by one, and the world went dark except for a single street light at the end of the block. The street light fizzled into darkness and then flared back to life and then fizzled again. Darkness, light, darkness, light. What? Ulysses wondered. Does the streetlight want to say? He thought about William's beaver. He thought about the word banished and the word homesick. He imagined typing the words and watching them appear on the paper, letter by letter. Flora had told him before he went to sleep that she thought it would be a good idea if he didn't type anything for a while, at least not on her mother's typewriter. It seems to provoke her, she said. I think your typing points and flying around the kitchen kind of made her have a nervous collapse or something. She had said this, and then she had given him a sad look and closed the door to the bedroom. I closed the door as a reminder, okay? No typewriter, no typing. Chapter 53. A Sign. Flora was dreaming. She was sitting on the bank of a river. William's beaver was sitting beside her. The sun was shining, and a long way off, there was a sign, a new sign. There was a word on the sign, but Flora couldn't read it. What does the sign say? Flora asked. What sign? Said William Beaver. I'm temporarily blind. It was comforting to have William Beaver act just as annoying in a dream as he would in real life. Flora relaxed. She stared at the river. She had never seen anything so bright. If I were an explorer and I discovered this river, I would call it the incandescent, said Flora. Think of the universe as an accordion, said William Beaver. Flora felt a prick of irritation. What does that mean? She said. Can you hear it? Asked William Beaver. He tilted his head to one side. He listened. Flora listened too. It sounded as if someone a long way off were playing a toy piano. Isn't it beautiful? Said William Beaver. It doesn't sound much like an accordion to me, said Flora. Oh, Flora Bailey, said William Beaver. You're so cynical. Of course it's an accordion. The sign was closer. It had moved somehow. The neon letters were blinking on and off and on and off, spelling out the words "Welcome to Blundermicken." "Wow," said Flora. "What?" said William Beaver. "I can read the sign." "What does it say?" "Welcome to Blundermicken," said Flora. The piano music got louder. William Beaver took hold of her hand. They sat together on the banks of the incandescent river, and Flora was perfectly happy. She thought, "I don't feel homesick at all." She thought, "William Beaver is holding my hand." And then she thought, "I wonder where Ulysses is." Chapter 54. Dear Flora. The kitchen was dark, lit only by the light above the stove. The squirrel was alone, but she had the strange feeling of not being alone. It was almost as if a cat were watching him. Had Mr. Claus tracked him down? Was he hiding in the shadows, waiting to exact his revenge? Cat revenge was a terrible thing. Cats never forgot an insult, never. And to be thrown down a hallway backward by a squirrel was a terrible insult. Ulysses held himself very still. He put his nose up in the air and sniffed, but he didn't smell cat. He smelled smoke. Flora's mother stepped out of the shadows and into the muted light of the kitchen. "So," she said, "I see you helped yourself to my typewriter again. Put your little squirrel paws all over it." She took another step forward. She put the cigarette in her mouth and reached out with both hands and yanked the paper from the typewriter. The rollers screamed in protest. Flora's mother crumpled the poem without looking at it, without reading one word of it, and dropped the paper on the floor. "So," she said. She exhaled a ring of smoke, and the circle floated in the dim light of the kitchen. A beautiful, mysterious oh. As he considered the cigarette smoke suspended in the air above him, Ulysses felt a wave of joy and sorrow, both things at once. He loved the world. He loved all of it, smoke rings and lonely squid and giant donuts and Flora Barry Buckman's round head and all the wonderful thoughts inside of it. He loved William Beaver and his expanding universe. He loved Mr. George Buckman and his hat and the way he looked when he laughed. He loved Dr. Mitchell and her watery eyes and her jelly sandwiches. He loved Tootie, who had called him a poet. He loved the stupid little shepherdess. He even loved Mr. Claus. He loved the world, this world. He didn't want to leave. Flora's mother reached past him and picked up a blank piece of paper and wrote it into the typewriter. "You want to type?" she said. He nodded. He did want to type. He loved typing. "Okay, let's type. You are going to type what I say." But that went against the whole point of typing. What someone else said. "Dear Flora," said Flora's mother. Ulysses shook his head. "Dear Flora," said Flora's mother again in a louder, more insistent voice. Ulysses looked up at her. Smoke existed her nostrils in two thin streams. "Do it," she said. Slowly, the squirrel typed the words, "Dear Flora," and then, stunned into a dumb willingness, he typed every terrible, untrue word that came out of Phyllis Buckman's mouth. The squirrel took dictation. Chapter 55. A Stone Squirrel. When he was finished, Flora's mother stood over his shoulder, reading and nodding and saying, "That's right, that's right. That ought to do it. There are a few misspellings, but then you're a squirrel. Of course you are going to misspell things." She lit another cigarette and leaned against the kitchen table and considered him. "I guess it's time," she said. "Wait here. I'll be right back." And he did as she said. He waited. She left the kitchen, and he simply sat there, unmoving. It was as if she had put a spell on him. It was as if typing the lies, the wrong words, had depleted him of all ability to act. Once, long ago, in a garden in springtime, Ulysses had seen a squirrel made of stone, gray, hollow-eyed, frozen. In his stone paws, he held a stone, a corn that he would never get to consume. That squirrel was probably in the garden now, still holding that acorn, still waiting. "I am a stone squirrel," thought Ulysses. "I can't move." He looked over at the words he had typed. They were untrue words. Several of them were misspelled. There was no joy in them, no love, and worst of all, they were words that would hurt Flora. He turned slowly. He sniffed his tail, and as he sniffed, he remembered the words that Flora had shouted at him in the giant do not. "Remember who you are. You are Ulysses." This helpful advice had been followed by a single powerful word: act. He heard the sound of footsteps. What should he do? What action should he take? He should type. He should type a word. But what word?